Ladies and gentlemen, Happy New Year. Welcome back to the Havoc Hour. I'm your host, Nick Havoc, as always, joined by my 1/3 of the Young Kings Wrestling Podcast, my co-host over there on the hottest wrestling podcast on Wednesday nights, my guy, TC Fontaine. What's good, bro?
What's good, man? Happy New Year. It's good to be here. I am soundboardless because I just didn't want to request access. I'm not gonna lie to you. I didn't feel like having that responsibility today.
Got you. And for the first time on the Havoc Hour, we finally got him in here. I have the host of Smacking the Raw podcast, the number one wrestling podcast on Pornhub, the Warden,
With no
the
content.
WBIC, Matt Ritter. What's going on, man?
What's going on? Yes, we are the number one wrestling podcast currently not on Pornhub because of this verification bullshit.
Still?
So they said that the verification process would roll out in the new year. It is now the new year, so we're waiting. Once they do roll out this process that they're coming up with, we will get verified and we will be back on Pornhub. But until then, they have pulled all of our content, which is so disappointing.
That's crazy.
You gotta go re-upload all 100 and some episodes now.
Yeah.
Nearly like 200, right?
Except Travis is lazy as fuck, so you guys will probably only get new shit.
All the archives are available elsewhere, though.
Oh, yeah, they're on YouTube. They're definitely available on YouTube. And it's 158, 159 episodes we're in now, a little over 3 years.
It's good stuff.
Man.
That's good stuff, man. Oh, man. So, you guys been watching any sports lately?
Yeah. I actually caught some stuff today. Just got done watching the Washington football team versus the Philadelphia Eagles. And I guess it was a de facto NFC East championship game for the former Redskins. And the Eagles are not in the playoffs. And in order for the New York Giants to get to the playoffs, they had to depend on the Philadelphia Eagles, their longtime rival, including the actual social media team for the New York Giants rooting for the Eagles. Screenshots galore. That's just a bunch of ammo that Eagles fans, such as my guy Reek here, can have just for years, for decades. That's some ammo right there.
Not Eagles, not me.
Oh, you're not with the Eagles?
Nah, it was Jets.
Oh, wrong green team. My bad.
I'm still contemplating how much longer I'm going to do that.
I would have been stopped like forever ago.
Yeah.
But if you stop, where are you going?
Oh, I don't know, man. I really don't.
There are applications available. I recommend staying far away from Chicago for a while. See, don't go Buffalo. Don't go Buffalo.
Yeah, but they made the playoffs, at least respectably. They're not one of those teams.
If the Buffalo Bills win anything, I probably will never watch football again.
But here's the thing. One, if you jump on the Buffalo bandwagon now, then you're just jumping on the bandwagon. You can't ride that train while they're winning. You got to find a team that looks decent. Like I said, stay away from the Bears.
But if you were a Buffalo fan, once COVID is over and they start allowing fans back into these stadiums, you can go tailgate and have one of them power bomb you through a flaming table outside the stadium. That's how they get down.
I'm good.
That's how they get down.
Like, it's so much crazier now. I mean, they just I see people jumping off shit through these tables. Like, I don't know what's wrong. Where did the tables come from? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
I would definitely participate. I would go to a tailgate just to do that and then leave. Now, don't set it on fire or nothing, but I'll go through about 3 tables stacked up on each other.
Just do like those guys used to do and go into Walmart and just start going through shit.
Yeah, Laura Adrian. Shout out to Laura Adrian.
They put on the show. So I'm of the mindset that I think Doug Peterson and the Eagles threw that game on purpose.
Oh, they absolutely did. The biggest tanking troll job I ever seen in my life. You know what? I have a quote from Mr. Doug Peterson that I just saw. It's absolutely terrible.
Oh, let's hear it.
To explain Jalen Hurts getting benched, I want to say in like the third quarter, Doug Peterson says Nate, which was the backup quarterback, I forget his last name. Whatever the hell. Nate's been here for 4 years, and I wanted to get him some playing time. To which somebody on Twitter said, "It's the NFL's first ever senior night. We love it."
On the last game of the season, I know y'all don't have nothing to play for, but it's the last game of the season, and it's your division rival. You're not trying to stop them.
At least evaluate your quarterback, you know what I'm saying? Evaluate who you got in Jalen, see what he does in a situation like that, you know what I mean?
See,
that's what somebody logical would do. But it's so obvious they tanked to get a better spot in the draft and to keep their most hated rival from getting into the playoffs. Very, very obvious. Not mad at it.
I feel like that's what it was. I feel like they was just being petty.
I was gonna say I gotta respect that level of petty. I really do.
Like I just honestly, I would just feel better if he just said that. Like, we didn't want the Giants in the playoffs. I mean, granted, I don't think anybody would if they're 6-10. You know what I'm saying? I see a lot of people complaining over the weekend that, my Ohio State Buckeyes.
6-win teams can get in the championships.
Yeah,
cool.
They're 6-0.
Whenever I have faith in my 5-win college team, everybody says I'm delusional.
Yeah.
What the hell? That's some bullshit.
Well, see, look, but that was my point. I said, look, if they're gonna complain about the Buckeyes playing in the national championship game and they only have 6 wins, don't say shit with the Giants because they're 6-10. If they would have won the division today, they would have been hosting Tampa Bay next weekend at 6-10.
You know what? I wanted to see that too. I wanted to see, Tom Brady's, biggest playoff kryptonite in the New York Giants. I wanted to see what it would be like on the outside looking in for once, because I was always on the side that Tom Brady was on, and now I don't got to be on that side anymore. I was very interested in seeing it happen, but unfortunately.
Why do you not have to be on that side anymore?
I am not a Buccaneers fan.
Why not?
Because I'm a Patriots fan.
Well, let's talk about this. Clearly, the secret sauce was Tom Brady and not Belichick, because Belichick didn't do shit this year.
Exactly.
With his quarterback, with his team. See, I was with you. I was a Patriots fan, or at least I thought I was. And then I heard Rob Gronkowski speak, like, as a person. And I realized, no, I'm really just a Tom Brady fan. So when he went down to Florida, so did my allegiance. It went with the best quarterback to ever step on a football field, in my opinion, Mr. Tom Brady.
I don't do that. That would be hypocritical of me as somebody who has criticized the legion of LeBron James fans for the last 12 years. I in good faith could not go in that direction. So I got to stick with my squad. We were trash this year. In one of the most obvious instances of tanking I've ever seen, Bill Belichick went for an onside kick in the third quarter while leading by 2 scores. He did that. We lost the game, by the way. So, yeah, we tanked. I would just look forward to the draft. We have the number 15 pick in the draft. Hopefully Bill Belichick does something right and trades up for that pick. Knowing him, he's going to draft a rush edger from Rutgers and maybe a wide receiver from UMass nobody's ever heard of who will be out of the league in 3 years. That's probably the direction it'll go, but I will wait.
My money's on him taking that quarterback from BYU.
Oh, hell yeah.
I was going to say that right now. But that was actually – there was a question I was going to ask you. Since, for the first time since 2008, the Pats aren't going to be in the playoffs, are you watching the playoffs this year, even though, you still got Tom Brady in there?
Yeah, I watch the playoffs. I want to see, I got some agendas to push, some anti-team agendas. Lamar Jackson is back in the playoffs with the Baltimore Ravens. So, I got to watch that, talk my shit against them. Pittsburgh Steelers as well. Same ordeal with them. They got Boo-Boo Smith-Schuster over on there. Who else? Tom Brady's in the playoffs. Gronk is on the squad. My guy Antonio Brown is on the squad, former Patriots. We got some Huskers on the defense too. My guy Ndamukong Suh, Levante David. So I gotta watch and support those guys. Who else is in the playoffs? I gotta hate watch New Orleans like I do every year because
New Orleans is
they got some of the worst
playing,
playoff luck of all time.
Yep.
They playing the Bears.
New Orleans is actually playing Chicago next
So
weekend.
Khalil Mack might get Drew Brees the hell out of here, turn him into dust.
Hey, look, see, Matt. Now you got a reason to watch, but I don't know if you got any faith in that.
I'm gonna watch Tom Brady, and I'm really hoping my man pulls out those.
What if
big
Tom Brady
playoffs
loses
wins.
to Alex Smith?
Then Tom Brady loses to Alex Smith, but at least he made it to the playoffs. Here's my thing: I'm hoping my man pulls out some big playoff wins, makes it to the Super Bowl. Hell, I'd be happy if he won the Super Bowl, but if not, at least makes it. Like that would be fantastic to see him go to this other team and still make it there without the coaching staff, without all of the, the gates and controversy and all that bullshit, and really prove that, on another team with another coach, we still got there. I deserve everything that my fans have been saying about me all this time. I do not want to see Buffalo win strictly because I'd have to leave the group chat because Kevin, dude, I couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Oh my God. Yeah,
I just don't think a team that's won, just 4 straight Super Bowls and lost them all should ever be allowed to win anything ever again. That's just how I feel.
Oh, they're scary good right now. If Tampa Bay makes it, it'll be the first time the host city has their team in the Super Bowl.
I've been saying this for a while now. How many football teams does the state of New York have?
2.
Well, one technically.
Well, technically 1.
Yeah.
So you got the Giants,
Jersey,
the Jets,
Jersey,
Buffalo,
upstate New York.
Okay. I feel like whoever has the worst record of those 3 teams should have to go to Iowa so Iowa could have a team. Like next season, worst record, ship them out to Iowa.
Who the hell wants to go to Iowa?
Oh, God.
Nobody. That's why worst team has to go to Iowa. So at least Iowa has one. I feel bad for the states that don't have football teams. Like you got to root for, what is it, the Hawkeyes over in Iowa?
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, fuck that.
Yeah, fuck that.
And
That'll be great.
I don't know what's worse. Because that's just like, I don't remember the last time we even talked about Iowa. They just abysmal.
I have a funny story about that. I'm from Nebraska, and Iowa is our rival. They're just right there on the border, bordering states. 2015, Iowa had their best season ever. I think they were undefeated. And it's they went to the Big Ten championship. So I'm going on vacation, and I just so happen to be on the same flight that's going to separate connecting flights in Minneapolis. So my flight was just a bunch of Iowa fans, and I was just so much out of place. There's a bunch of Iowa fans traveling to Indianapolis for the title game, and I thought, just thinking of, about how they had to come back after a loss in the title game. They got destroyed in the title game, if I remember correctly, Michigan State, I think. And then they got destroyed by Stanford in the bowl.
Yeah.
So like I very much enjoy seeing Iowa lose just because my team can't beat them, and we haven't beaten them since 2014. So whenever I see them lose to other teams, I just feel vindicated until we finally beat them again. I will relish in other opportunities.
That's terrible, man. I can't.
I know.
All right. So
Stockholm syndrome. That's what they call it.
They got some great strip clubs in Iowa, though. Let me tell you. Fantastic strip club. Yeah, dude. Listen, I lived in Sterling. It was 45 minutes outside of the border of Iowa, where the Quad Cities are, Davenport and all that. Great strip clubs up there.
Wow. The more you know. I never
corn-fed Midwestern girls, man.
They probably thick too. I never would have guessed it. That's crazy.
What? What's up, TC?
Oh man.
They're not.
So, staying in a little bit in pro sports here. So, I read this little quote here, and I wasn't sure who said it, but somebody said that Steph Curry was overrated because they're off to a really rough start over there in Golden State. And he comes out tonight, he dropped 62. But my question is, the guy that won 3 championships against LeBron James, how is that man overrated when we call LeBron James the greatest of not just his era, maybe the greatest of all time? I don't know how we do that. I don't say that he is, because obviously I've been adamant that as long as I'm alive, the greatest player I have seen is Jordan. So from that standpoint, I see where we have the argument for LeBron, but this is just where we are today. Everyone, new generation, that's who they've seen, and his longevity and how long he's been able to do it at this level, that can't even be denied. But just for the context of this whole thing with Steph, it's like, yo, he won 3 championships against him. How the hell is he overrated? I don't understand that.
3 championships. He broke the 3-point record one year, and he thought it was so easy to do that he went and broke it again the very next year. Has 400 threes. Nobody has ever had over 300 outside of him. Yep. I think that's incredible. I might be wrong on that. I haven't been keeping track on that stat in the last couple of years. 2-time MVP, first ever unanimous MVP, 3-time champion. And the fact that he doesn't have any finals MVPs, they hold that against him. And I think that's the most ridiculous thing ever.
I don't.
Because you ignore literally everything else he's done he won a couple finals MVPs.
And so, who was it that said this quote?
The overrated quote, I don't recall. I don't want to put any words in other people's mouths that weren't said. But I do seem to recall seeing that Channing Frye, if you know who Channing Frye is, he was on the Cavaliers team that beat the Warriors in 2016. He says that this upcoming game against the Portland Trail Blazers, either that game or this season, I'm lost on the quote. My apologies, anybody. But he says that it's a legacy game for Steph Curry. It's important to his legacy. He has to do something to prove himself this season because he hasn't proven himself enough in the last 10 years, apparently.
See, I got nothing for that.
As a 5'8" white guy who is the definition of white men can't jump, basketball outside of being a fan in Chicago when Jordan was hot hasn't really been my thing. But I'm listening to this. I know who Steph Curry is. I'm familiar with Steph Curry. Obviously, I know who LeBron James is. I know a little bit. It sounds to me like, to equate it to something I understand, Jordan would be Ric Flair.
Okay.
The unanimously considered greatest of all time.
Mm-hmm.
LeBron, a little more controversial, but in that maybe like a Kenny Omega.
That's disrespectful.
To Kenny or to LeBron?
That's disrespectful to LeBron.
Oh, okay. Well, and then I'd have to say Steph Curry sounds a little bit like Roman Reigns. Because as good as he is, and he comes out and shows he's that good, and has, main evented WrestleMania how many times? Kind of like winning championships.
Yeah.
Considered overrated, heckled.
This is a conversation to have on our podcast.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we definitely gonna check that one out. No, it's like the bandwagon left. That's really what it is. They lost a lot of what made them strong. Kevin Durant left. Klay Thompson's been hurt. And they don't have Draymond Green.
Draymond came back tonight.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
lit up the scoreboard. 1 point, baby.
Please. But yeah, no, they lost a lot of their firepower, and so they haven't been the dominant team that they were the past 5-6 years.
Look
And
at who Steph is playing with. I saw a picture earlier, and Steph was getting guarded 5-on-1.
that's ridiculous. I mean, I can see it.
Kelly Oubre out there shooting 4% from the field from 3-point range.
Oh God.
Your best shooter after Steph is Andrew Wiggins. You're not gonna win like that.
They do have Wiggins. That's a damn shame. No, like when all the excitement
Should have
goes,
kept my boy D'Lo.
they start looking at you all kind of funny. Like like Cleveland. When LeBron leaves that team, they're bottom of the basement. No one cares. No one looks even anywhere in their direction. When LeBron was on the team, it's all people were talking about because we know where LeBron goes, his fan follows. But
Goofy.
yeah. So I know. Trust me, I know.
I'm talking about people that talk junk about the Lakers 10 years ago, all of a sudden wearing Lakers jerseys, watching the games, rooting for every Lakers win because
that's
means
what this is about. That okay, it all makes sense now because I know you're a huge Lakers fan. I'm like, don't get me wrong. As a Jordan guy, I get sick of hearing LeBron this, LeBron that, like whatever. Yeah, he's okay, but in my opinion, he's not Jordan. But I'm like, why do you have a disdain for LeBron fans? And it's because they all became bandwagon Lakers fans when he joined up, and you don't want none of these bandwagoners rooting for your team just because LeBron was there.
I hate them.
That makes sense.
Absolutely. I seriously considered very momentarily, damn, do I want the Lakers to win another championship with LeBron? I thought about it, and I was like, yeah, I do.
Well, it's fair because I mean you got to think, it's like I said before with Cleveland.
You know what lineups I had to watch. You know what lineups I had to watch. I stayed up till midnight every night for about 7 years.
Jordan Clarkson, Mozgov, who else?
Listen,
God, it was
Jeremy Lin, Nick Young, Wesley Johnson,
Swaggy P,
Jordan Hill,
yep,
and Ed Davis. And Carlos Boozer was on that team. And not the Carlos Boozer that was on All-Star teams in the late 2000s. No, this was Carlos Boozer that was a one-man man in Chicago for 3 seasons.
This was not the Bulls, Carlos Boozer.
It was even worse than that. We had some terrible squads I had to watch.
He had his moments with the Bulls.
He did.
Spray painting his hair on national television.
As a bald man, listen, I'm not going to knock the guy for that. I get it.
Nothing wrong with that. Embrace it. I mean, you good. You a dreads guy, obviously, so
Locks, not dreads.
Locks. Hey, yeah. All right, so.
But you embrace it, man. Like Reek, my guy Reek over here, 23 years old, and he embraced it. He loved it. I short-sighted you on the.
Say you're 23.
I short-sighted you on the age on purpose.
I mean, I wish I was still 23. Don't get me wrong. I would have loved it, but yeah, I'm getting close to that scary age. I know what I'm talking about already.
It's creeping.
Past it.
Yeah.
I got 20 months, man.
Hey, enjoy that shit. So before we really get into the nitty gritty on my main topic of the night, I can't go without bringing this up because I said I would. The Clippers had the most embarrassing moment of what was it? Was it before the new year or was it after? I think it was before. It was okay. So right as 2020 ended, they managed to notch the most embarrassing sports moment of the year, in my opinion. Because I don't know how any sports team, professional or otherwise, can be losing by 50 points at halftime, but then go on to proceed to lose the game by 51. Kawhi was out because, he took an elbow to the face from Serge Ibaka, and Pandemic P, Paul George, was left out there by himself. And when I say drop the ball, I mean, my God, this was bad. This was
But
bad.
an elbow from who?
Serge Ibaka.
Are you saying Sir Chewbacca?
Nah, Serge Ibaka.
Okay.
Oh, that's funny.
I heard you say Sir Chewbacca twice now, and I'm like, that is not that man's name. Tell me that is not that man's name.
Oh, man.
That's funny.
Nah.
Also, big shout out to the Clippers today. They were up about I want to say like 30 at one point versus the Suns. They won the game by 5.
Oh, my God.
Are the Suns still in Phoenix?
Yep.
So not everything has changed since I was like actually watching.
They're doing pretty good. After 5-2, off to a hot start now. It was
Chris Paul.
yeah. Chris Paul's a floor general, so that you can't lose when you have that on your team. But Phoenix really was doing good anyway. I mean, when the bubble started, and I think they were 8-0 in the bubble before, just before the playoff selection.
I wanted them to make the playoffs so bad.
Yeah. It made you wonder what would have happened if they got in, because they were doing.
I mean, they would have got swept, but
I don't
they
know.
would have got swept.
I feel like because they would have played the Lakers, right?
Yeah, we would have swept them.
I feel like they could have pulled off like a win, maybe 2.
They would have had a really, really close one, and they would have lost. But
They wouldn't, in my opinion, they wouldn't have done much better than Portland did. Because Portland, what was it, 4-1?
yeah,
Yeah, I think that's about what Phoenix would have did.
we would have got swept.
Okay. I'm good now.
I don't know. I try to give him some credit.
You said Chris Paul, and like I said, I'm not watching basketball. It's been a little while. And I was thinking, is that the dude that looks like the Velociraptor? But no, that's Chris Bosh. I had to look.
Yeah,
I mean,
that
Chris
was,
Paul's still kind of goofy looking, but
Yeah, that was big 3. Miami, LeBron, and Wade. Champagne showers.
Yo, Chris Bosh had some of the funniest memes
Mm-hmm.
of all time. I miss watching Chris Bosh play. I wish he was still able to play ball.
let's play a real fun game real quick. I'm going to name basketball teams that existed when I was still watching basketball on a consistent basis, and you can tell me if they're still around. The Hornets. Charlotte Hornets.
This list, when did you stop watching basketball? This list probably has not changed at all.
Yeah. Charlotte actually went through a revamp at one point. They were
the Bobcats.
Okay.
The Hornets did go to New Orleans at one point, but they scrapped all that. Now they're back in Charlotte.
Seattle Supersonics.
No, they're the Thunder now.
The Oklahoma City.
Okay. Orlando Magic.
Still.
Okay. I know the Nets moved to Brooklyn.
Yep.
I remember that.
It's my new team now.
You said Phoenix still has the Suns. Indiana still the Pacers?
Yep.
Okay. And Detroit's still the Pistons.
Yep.
Yeah, somehow.
Are the Wizards still around?
They are.
Yep.
A little bit of fun trivia you probably didn't know. My hometown used to have an NBA team for like 3 years. Split it with Sacramento Kings used to play in Kansas City and Omaha for about 3 seasons.
I didn't know that.
No.
Yeah. In the 70s. Early 70s.
Shit.
Fun fact. Very irrelevant fact.
Hey, listen, they been around a whole bunch of different teams, but so, folks, are we all caught up on the Mandalorian?
Yes.
Everybody watch through to the end of season 2.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Spoiler alert. Shout out to the GOAT Jedi all time coming through, wrecking shit, wrecking the Dark Troopers, going crazy. Shout out to my guy, Giancarlo Esposito. This guy knows how to play the heel, don't he? The GOAT. Absolute GOAT.
So I gotta say, I'm thankful that I used this time through the pandemic to binge watch Clone Wars and Rebels to get like really up on everything that was going on, because there's a whole bunch of Easter eggs that they dropped throughout both seasons of this show that if you hadn't watched the show, you wouldn't really caught it.
I did not watch Rebels. I have watched Clone Wars.
I ain't watching either. I should probably do that.
Yeah, Rebels is really good.
I heard.
I was going through and checking out some of like the real important episodes to watch. But no, like this season, I was hooked from the first season, but this season just like way the fuck up there now, because I mean, from Ahsoka showing up like midway through the season, that was killer. She's gonna have her own show now.
That's a Clone Wars thing.
Yeah.
You
Definitely.
would not be familiar with Ahsoka Tano unless you've seen the Clone Wars. Same thing with the Darksaber, which they give the whole backstory of the Darksaber in. Clone Wars is definitely worth a watch just for context for season 2, really. The end of season 1 into season 2.
So, but and this is one thing. I'm glad you mentioned that, because they bring this up, and so you know one of two things. Number one, somebody's gonna have some kind of fight with Gideon at some point during season 2. And number two, that means that Bo-Katan is gonna show up, because she was the last, technically ruler of Mandalore. But they have to settle this whole issue of the Darksaber, because last time I checked, and they said it in the last episode, you have to defeat your opponent in combat to claim the Darksaber. Nobody got to beat him. So they got to settle this shit. Like, it could be, first
Let me
episode
have
of the
it.
season. Like, they can't just let that go. I'm sorry. Like, I got too invested in that storyline when I was watching Clone Wars for them to ruin this now. Like, they can't do that. I'm sorry. There's no way.
Do you think Bo-Katan is still alive for the Mandalorian? Because Clone Wars took place during the prequels and then a little bit after.
Yeah.
This is taking place after the original trilogy.
Right.
So, I mean, Luke has been born and grown up that entire time.
Yeah.
Bo-Katan was full-fledged adult. I don't know on Mandalore what the life cycle is, but weren't they saying that what was her name? The chick that was leading Sasha and that group of Mandalorians, weren't they saying she was a descendant of the person who created the Darksaber? That's why she was trying to get claim to it, or at least the last owner of the Darksaber. Is she like related to Bo-Katan? Was that it?
No, she is Bo-Katan.
She is.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's something I was wondering too, because she was a part of, or she part of the Death Watch in Clone Wars that they had on Mandalore. It was that basically they were a vigilante group, since they didn't have an army. So that was their line of defense. They had their suits and their weapons and everything like that, because what was it? Her Bo-Katan's sister was she was the Duchess, and they didn't believe in war or anything like that, so they didn't have an army. So the Death Watch was who they went to, but they had some kind of conflict, and then they just went their separate ways afterwards.
Satine, that's who I was thinking of. I wasn't thinking of Bo-Katan. I was thinking of Satine, which was her sister.
Oh yeah. She got killed in Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
I like that storyline too because they kind of, I mean, they basically outright said it that Obi-Wan kind of he had a romance with her and everything like that. Obi-Wan, who's supposedly so addicted to the rules, essentially of the Jedi life and no attachment and everything like that, but
He was addicted to something else.
yeah, he had something going on with her. Like there was no questions about that.
He's out here shaming Anakin. You can't be doing this. Blah 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 blah. Meanwhile, he's out getting a piece on the side.
That's some
All
bullshit,
quiet.
ain't it?
It is.
Like Anakin literally like risked his life.
Yeah, that's true. So
It's crazy.
did they say how Boba Fett survived?
I don't think so.
Because that I don't get me wrong. I was hyped for it. I'm glad we got to see it. I'm just like,
They did say how he survived. I believe they said he was spit out and hurt and nursed back to health by the Sand People, I believe.
Okay.
It was something along those lines, but he I believe he was spit out and left in the desert to die. Oh, and yeah, was nursed back to health, and then obviously he found Ming Na Wen's character and saved her, which was cool.
yeah.
'Cause everyone's been clamoring for Boba Fett to come back. Like that.
Yeah, why not? I figure, if you're gonna have multiple seasons of the show, explore some options.
Gave us
Nobody's.
everything this season, though. Like,
Oh yeah.
they gave you Ahsoka, they gave you Boba Fett, they gave you the Dark Saber, they gave you Luke Skywalker, they gave you Jedi's, and they gave you everything.
Yeah. Yeah. It was. They really went out of their way this season. I mean, and I was personally, I was happy to see Boba come back because he didn't give enough airtime in the originals. I mean, I know there's not a lot of complaints in the originals compared to the prequels where everything is a complaint, but he didn't get nearly enough screen time between the 3 original movies. And as soon as Return of the Jedi starts, it's like he gets eaten. So that, I think it was good to bring him back to at least get out the whole season.
And see, I loved him here, but I never got the hype because he didn't get that much screen time. Like, he was such a beloved character, and I'm like, he didn't really do much. Like, why is everyone clamoring for this dude when he didn't do shit?
I think it was like the presence. Like, he just had that aura that was like, you didn't want to fuck with this guy because of whatever he might do. But that's just how I saw it, honestly. And they kind of doubled down on that with Django in the prequels, but I don't know.
How we feeling about Grogu's name?
Hate it.
I feel like we could have. I get it, you want to be creative, but I feel like there was at least another alternative idea we could have went with for that. Because
I'm with you. So I believe it was from the Christmas special. There are only 2 of Yoda's species before Grogu that were known, and I believe it was Yoda and Yaddle. So I just assumed that, given the name, it was going to start with the Y because that just seemed like what they did.
yeah,
So when they said that, it completely threw me off, and I'm like, that sounds kind of like Groot.
yeah. Like I don't hate it, but I just, when I first heard it, I'm like,
It don't roll off the tongue.
it doesn't. No, I don't know that. It didn't sit well with me. Like, you guys, so since we all do our wrestling podcast here, we saw that Sasha DDT on Boba Fett. Oh my god. I didn't know who to root for in that whole situation because,
Boss time 24/7.
it's Boba Fett. But then I was super hyped to see Sasha in this role. I think she killed it throughout the season. But I'm like, I don't know, man. Like, can she hang with him? Can she really fight with the guy? And then I see that, and I'm just like, oh shit.
Like you said, Bo-Katan ran the Death Watch.
Yeah.
She's riding with Bo-Katan, so she is at least part of, trained by, working with the Death Watch. So you know she can go.
Yeah.
You know, she's there for a reason. Now, I heard rumors that Sasha was only going to be in one episode. So when she came back in the finale, I was like, oh shit. See, the internet's full of a bunch of liars. And I'm happy because I was going to be really disappointed. She was only there for one episode, and that was it.
Yeah, I heard that too, and I was just like, oh, I guess we're not done with Sasha. That's fine, because I mean, we can keep this thing going as long as you really want to. You know, there's no shortage of ideas. But yeah, that's one of the rare times I was glad the internet was full of it, because I don't know, man. There's only so much that you can keep going, you know, when, you know, you don't expand all the different storylines and stuff like that. Like, you didn't expect to see any of them show up in this, you know, in this season of the show. And having them there, I think now you open up so many more possibilities going forward after this season, especially now that the kid's gone. So I'm just, yeah, I was very upset that they made me so in touch with my sensitive side in that ending. Like, that was upsetting. Like, you brought the adrenaline because Luke showed up and destroyed everything, and then you just brought it all the way down because the kid leaves, and then Mando takes his helmet off in front of everybody. It's like, bruh, I didn't ask for all of that. I really didn't.
Well, she did explain to Mando, like, hey, listen, the shit you guys are doing, that's some cult bullshit. Like, that's not Mandalorian shit. I know you're a foundling and this is what they taught you, but like, that's not what we do. That's just this weird little religious bullshit that you guys are on. You don't need to be like that. My question is for both of you, TC and Reek. So we know Luke takes the kid, the child.
Yeah.
We know in the future, at some point, Kylo Ren is trained by Luke Skywalker and kills everyone that Luke is training, goes on a tear.
Yeah.
Is the kid there? Because if not, where the fuck is he? Because we know the species lives for a long time. Look at Yoda. I mean, the kid's 50 years old and he's a child. So either he's out there somewhere or Kylo cut him down.
Well, I could tell you.
I feel like Kylo, you know, might have slaughtered him just like Grandpa did.
Well, that's kind of where I was going. I would think for his peace of mind, maybe Kylo got to him, because you got to figure, if he is alive, he is somewhere in a state of extreme trauma, because he was technically alive during the Purge. He witnessed the Purge.
Escaped Anakin.
Yeah, escaped it. And now he could say he was witness to 2 different massacres in 2 different eras of time.
From the same bloodline.
Yeah.
It's like seeing Hitler's grandson come back and start a second Holocaust.
Yeah. 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 So
He doesn't like that analogy.
I think, well, yeah, I think for his own peace of mind, and still just so he doesn't go completely insane, maybe Kylo got to him. I mean, we didn't see him in the sequel trilogy, although we didn't see a lot of things in the sequel trilogy. But
see, that's what's fucking me up is we know
Let's not get
Ahsoka's out
started
there.
on that.
No, we know Ahsoka's out there. We know that Mace Windu is rumored to possibly still be alive. We know from Clone Wars that Darth Maul was still around. We know a lot of things. that we don't see in the movies. Like, the movies lead you to believe that Anakin killed, along with the Empire, all of the Jedi except for Obi-Wan, who then trained Luke, who was then the only Jedi except Leia, who was Force sensitive, until he trained a bunch of people, and then grandson comes in and fucks everyone up again, and then Rey is the only one left besides Luke. Like, that's what they lead you to believe. But apparently there are other Jedi somewhere out there in hiding, chilling, doing something, and I'd like to see that.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you were a real deep fan, there are novels that have been out there. There are games. I mean, like Force Unleashed told you that right after the Purge, Shakti was alive. There's a couple Jedi that were still on different planets. Then this new game that came out, what's it called? Fallen Order.
Yep.
There we go. Yeah. He's a Jedi. And there was a couple people who they were Jedi, but they cut their connection to the Force off. So, I mean, I don't know how far they were really looking, because I mean, just based off of those things, it's like there were so many out there that it's like, how can you call it a full-on extinction?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there was so much left out there.
Now, do we know? Now, I know Fallen Order ties in a little bit of what you saw in Clone Wars, as far as the planet where the Sith came from, where Darth Maul came from, his planet and the witches and all that. But do we know if that, and if the other game you mentioned with Darth Vader's apprentice, Force Unleashed, are those canon technically?
The way that they're set up from start to finish, they can be. I don't know if they officially are, but they're built so that they can fit into the storyline. Like Force Unleashed happens right after Revenge of the Sith, like this maybe a couple years at most, because his apprentice was sent out to hunt all the Jedi, but then he gets betrayed by Vader, and he decides to start finding people that were going against the Empire, and that wound up building the foundation for the rebellion. So from that, it's like, okay, you can say that it's canon because he meets Princess Leia on Kashyyyk, and she has her go to her father Bail Organa, and they had that meeting, and that's basically where the rebellion started. So it ends with him technically dying, but then there's another game that comes out, so you could consider that canon. Fallen Order is a little more of a stretch, because this character, what's his name, Cal. Yeah, it brings out a whole bunch of different places and characters and stuff like that from like way past, and it's like I wouldn't necessarily say it's 100% canon. It could fit, and it would be good, because if you watch Rebels and stuff like that, because the game has the Inquisitors and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then that's, if Rebels is canon, I couldn't see why not. It would make sense, but I don't know officially. It would make sense.
Are we a little too nerdy for you right now, TC?
Is this, as somebody who's honestly only really watched the movies, so much stuff I'm not really aware of. I haven't read any books. I haven't really watched any shows outside of Mando. I used to watch the cartoon a little bit here and there. I haven't played any games.
I know we've had discussions, and you've told me before that wrestling was the only nerd shit you really had time for. Couldn't get into
I had a little bit of time for Star Wars. I had a little time for Star Wars, a little time for Power Rangers.
Okay.
Things like that.
I assume with the Dragon Zord for the prestigious soundboard.
Yeah, well,
yeah,
That's the sovereign
Soundboard.
official entrance, basically.
So we're going to go with Kylo killed that kid. So everyone listening to this, I want you to know that you thought he was all safe. He took no, that kid's dead, and Kylo slaughtered him. So if you felt any sympathy for Kylo at the end of the last trilogy where he killed that kid.
I did not.
I love that kid, and he killed him.
Damn. Well, I mean, maybe that was for the best. It's either that or you live the rest of your long life with a scarred psyche, because I'm pretty sure Yoda lived to be well over 300 years old.
400.
Because I think it was in Clone Wars, he was like 280 something, and then you just add a whole another 30 years on top of that. So, yeah, that's a long time to live with images of death and dismemberment and all kinds of crazy shit. Woo. Anywho. You guys have anything else before we wrap this up?
I want to interrupt real quick, man. Watching Wrestle Kingdom just started. They have fans in the building. I just want to say, America, get your shit together.
In the Tokyo Dome.
Because I just got jealous. Like we can't have a whole bunch of people congregating because our rates are so high. Because we got a bunch of selfish ass fucking people in our society. Meanwhile, in Japan, they get the whole day sports shows at third of capacity. We can't even do that.
Well,
They were wearing masks well before the pandemic hit.
I'm about to say,
yes,
that all the time.
You know what? And we used to look at them like, what the hell's wrong with these people?
Well, you saw that article that came out over in Wuhan. They had New Year's Eve celebration.
Oh, they was partying.
And that Wuhan's supposed to be ground zero.
Right.
Yeah, man.
Damn shame.
Oh, man. All right. So you guys got anything else before we wrap this up?
From The Mandalorian Season 2. I mean, Rosario Dawson as Ahsoka Tano was dope as shit. That fight scene, the spear that is made of Beskar, that cannot be cut by a lightsaber or a dark saber. Handy little tool they got there.
Yeah, that's something I need some like clarification on. Like, how the hell, like, what the hell is Beskar made out of? Vibranium?
Adamantium?
It might be.
I guess, because I mean, all right. So I've never had this moment where I could ask this question to somebody who might know what the fuck I'm talking about. So, could a lightsaber cut through adamantium? Like, if Wolverine got into a fight with a Jedi, could he win, or would he get cut up?
Before this season, I might have said yes. But now seeing that there's a metal out there that the lightsaber cannot cut through, I don't know if adamantium would also fall under that category. So now I'm saying there is a chance that he may survive and his claws may stop the saber.
Yeah,
I think so. I think it's possible.
The question is, how hot does a lightsaber get? Because we know you can melt adamantium. That's how they got it grafted to his bones. They melted it and injected it into him. So if it's hot enough to melt the adamantium,
you got a point.
Well, we know it's hot enough to cauterize, because second you get a limb missing, it's already sewn up and burnt.
yeah, no blood.
Yeah, not a single.
But they're also melting Beskar down to make armor and shit. So
yeah, that's true. I might have to start a poll about that one, because I've wondered that for the longest time, because it's a Marvel fan, it's a Star Wars fan, it all just like at some point
it's all under Disney. It all might become one full universe in the end anyway.
that's true. Have you guys seen Superhero Beatdown?
No.
from Bat in the Sun. Okay. That is something we need to submit to them, is Wolverine versus Luke Skywalker or some sort of Jedi, where we can do a superpower beatdown and see if the lightsaber stands up to the adamantium. That'd be a good fight. That'd be a good one to watch.
Yeah, because I need answers to that question. I've wanted it for years. I gotta see it. I gotta see it.
They got some good shit on YouTube for superpower beatdown there, TC. You got Wolverine versus the Predator, Wolverine versus Wonder Woman.
I think I might have seen one. Did they have a Darth Vader versus Batman at one point?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I saw that one.
The one that
was
got
pretty.
me hooked.
I thought it was some bullshit though, because Darth Vader would definitely beat the shit out of Batman.
Yeah, no, that's not even a legit fight. Like, he would get destroyed. But no, the one that really got me hooked was the White Ranger versus Scorpion. Because
Tommy won, didn't
he? I think he did.
Better had.
And if I'm not mistaken, WWE's own John Morrison played Casey Jones in one of those.
Really?
From the Ninja Turtles,
That wouldn't surprise me. Yeah, he has a very Casey Jones aesthetic to himself.
That's pretty legit. Yeah, Jason David Frank was like posting about it all over his page, and I'm just like, White Ranger and Scorpion. I don't know how well that's gonna fare, but saw it and like, yo, that shit is legit. That's awesome.
Shout out to Jason David Frank, man. We gotta get him on YKW.
Most definitely.
They also just
wrestling debut in 2019. If you did not know.
Yeah.
Speaking of Jason David Frank, they just dropped I just saw it the other day, Godzilla versus the Dragon Zord for Superpower Beatdown.
Oh man. I haven't watched it in so long.
I'm on that.
They've had the Green Ranger, they've had the White Ranger, now we got the Dragon Zord.
Yeah. The Green Ranger was fighting Ryu, right?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah. That was good shit. Yeah, I haven't watched it in so long, since back then. But Godzilla and the Dragon Zord, I need parts of that.
Yeah, for sure.
Anywho, this was good shit. This has been the Havoc Hour. You listening this far through all the nerdism. We appreciate y'all. Before we get out of here, fellas, let us know where to find you, your socials, your shows, your merch. Plug it all. Let us hear it.
Go ahead, TC.
All right, it's cool. I'll go first. You can go ahead and find me on Instagram. I tend to not post that often, but I'm trying to do better about that. Go ahead and follow me at tc.fontaine. Go ahead and follow me and Reek and Malik at the Young Kings Wrestling Podcast, YK Wrestling everywhere, Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. Thinking about starting a Pinterest. I don't know, maybe a Tumblr, maybe a TikTok, something, I don't know. Go to ykwrestling.com. You want to find links to our episodes. Go check our most recent full episode, the Young Kings Wrestling Awards for 2020. We also have a tribute show to John Huber, a.k.a. Brody Lee / Luke Harper as well. So those are our two most recent. Go ahead and find those links at ykwrestling.com, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes, wherever you listen to your podcast. Go check out my Linktree. I don't know what the domain is. It's some goofy stuff. It's in my bio on Instagram. I don't know the format of their links. Go check my Linktree out. I have links to my most recently released film that I starred in, Death by Professor. You can go ahead and view that.
We find you on IMDb?
Yes, I am on IMDb.
That makes two of us.
What were you in?
Yeah.
I have a no. I have a security credit for a movie called a buddy of mine did it. I actually have to look it up, but I played security for that film. Not actually acting, but actually did security on the film in Chicago. And then there was a movie called The Association with Kevin Nash that never got released.
Oh yeah, I heard his story a few times.
Mm-hmm. So I have a credit in that as like goon number 3 or some shit like that.
You got the credit. It never came out, but you got the credit. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters.
I did.
So you could be like, hey, I was in a movie with Kevin Nash, and people would be like, bullshit, and be like, it's right here.
Oh, also, they gave me a credit as somebody's dad in a Bollywood film. Apparently, somebody had my same name, and they played a father in a movie that I let IMDb know. I'm like, that's not me. But, yeah, so I've actually got 3 credits on there.
Nice. I got a few. Like, the thing is, I do projects, and, like, for some reason, the people, they don't really consider adding their actors to IMDb for whatever reason. So I got a lot of stuff that I was in that just, you can go to my IMDb, and it's missing some stuff. But
that's fucked up.
I know, it's some bullshit. Makes me look like I haven't done anything in about 3 years, but I have.
I did watch that film, Death by Professor. That's some cold shit.
It was dope.
Like, because it's crazy too. Because I've been watching Power this season, the spinoffs that they've been doing, and it's so relatable to that now. Especially if you saw the season finale.
You know, like I said, I told you, I gotta start hate watching Power. So I think I'm gonna get my stars. Maybe set up a trial that way I can binge the season in about 7 days and see what's going on.
They basically did the same thing as the movie was in. If you really look at it.
Okay.
It might make you mad, but it was good shit.
You know, I'm gonna say one thing that's gonna make me mad before we get up out of here.
I still gotta plug my shit, so don't hang up.
Yeah.
Okay. My bad, Matt. This has been the longest plugging of a social in the history of podcasts. But so back when I was a teenager, my late teens, I would intern. I was interning for University Medical Center in Nebraska. They're public health college. Every summer, intern with them, and we would come up with different ways to kind of outreach the community in manners that would be interesting. You know, you think of certain ways people would just do town halls and do like health screenings. That's not interesting. It's boring as hell. So we have to find other ways to just get people interested. That way they pay attention. Hopefully themselves be healthy. You know what I mean? And so one of the things we did was we would make these songs. We would make songs. We would make original songs. We would have a beat CD. We would choose some beats we like, and we would write a song, rap over it, depending on, you know, certain health topic, maybe mental health, physical health. So I wrote a song to, it was a parody of I'm Sexy and I Know It. It was called I'm Healthy and I Know It. And I went on YouTube because I was interested in looking up the video that we had did. And I come across about a year after we did the video, I see, I'm not going to say the name of the fitness center, but there was a fitness center that completely stole the song that I wrote. And I don't have any proof that I wrote it originally because I was about 17 years old. I did not know about these things, and I can't get my coins. I'm very upset. I'm upset.
See, we should add this on board next time.
He definitely does it better than I do.
Oh man, that's cool.
I'm sorry, man.
It's all good. I'm sorry you didn't get paid for your song you wrote, man. That's fucked up. You know what's not fucked up though? You guys can find me on Twitter at Matt Ritter. That is at MATTRIDDER. There you have link trees to Linktree/Creation World, which will get you the video, the Patreon, and the merch for our podcast, the Smacking the Raw podcast. We cover wrestling with a slightly TVMA twinge to it, I'd say.
It's all the way TVMA. All the way.
See, Matt, you see what happens when you edit my face off your podcast, all your videos get deleted.
Apparently that's what happened.
Fuck with me.
Not just that, but everything got deleted off Pornhub. Every non-verified user, every amateur video uploaded, all that shit got taken down.
I brought the rapture
to Pornhub. You guys can also find the link tree for the audio versions, which can be found on Spotify, Google Play, Apple Podcasts, all that place, and that's Linktree/Smacking It Raw. Please go follow at Smacking It Raw Pod. I fucked some shit up and had to create a new backup account, but I want to kind of get the followers up there and transition to making that the official podcast account and do more just solo Matt stuff from my account. So let's get those follows up there. And go subscribe to our YouTube.
And Matt Ritter got all the followers, though.
Yeah, about 3,300 of them.
Hashtag Ritter over Riddle.
Hashtag Ritter over Riddle.
If you know, you know.
Matt, how do you feel? I haven't kept up with your show in a few weeks. How do you feel that two of your favorites are a tag team now?
To be fair, we actually haven't done a show in a couple weeks. One last thing to plug before I answer your question. Hopefully dropping tomorrow if Travis isn't lazy, will be a super show that I did with a Kenny for Your Thoughts, The Hardest Part of the Ring, and the Angle podcast, where we did a 3-hour damn near 2020 review.
There's some big names right there.
Yeah, they invited me on. I was very happy to join them, and we had a good time. Talked a lot of shit. As far as Jeff Hardy and Matt Riddle teaming up, it's kind of like Nightmare on Elm Street for me. Every time I turn on Monday Night Raw, I feel like Freddy's going to pop up and just like slash me across the face, or like Matt Riddle's going to turn around and have the bladed glove. I feel like they took my absolute nightmare and just shoved it down my throat for 3 hours. If that answers your question.
See, I keep telling y'all, they're listening when we do these things. And they're trying to create, it's like I keep saying with Botcher and Bland every week, they're trying to piss me off. They keep putting them on TV. And, you know, you'll be on there. You keep saying, you can't stand Jeff Hardy, you can't stand Matt Riddle. Oh, yeah?
Man, I think
watch this.
I really feel like Sasha Banks should lose every single match she's in for the rest of her career. That's just how I feel.
Yeah, and I don't think Aleister Black should ever be on TV again.
Never.
Y'all hear that shit? Listen real good. They mean that 100%. Oh, man. Oh, if you made it this far, thanks for listening to the Havoc Hour. I appreciate my guests, TC, Matt. Thanks for y'all for coming on. I'll catch y'all next week. We out.